Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another video. So today we have some very exciting Star Wars news. We begin with a very cryptic post by Ahmed on Instagram. The Jar Jar Binks and Kelleran Beq actor most recently appeared in The Mandalorian Season 3, where he was the one who saved Grogu from Order 66. The assumption has been either The Mandalorian Season 4 or the Jon Favreau-led Mandalorian and Grogu movie would be where the flashback continues. But it turns out, my dear friends, believe it or not, it might be in under a month's time. In The Bad Batch Season 3, out of the blue, he posted to Instagram saying this: "Who sent me the Naboo cruiser? A great question. Where did we go? What happened? I'm just as anxious for answers. #ready, and then a bunch of other hashtags. But look at the penultimate one. #the Bad Batch. As clear as day. Is he implying we're going to see Kelleran Beq and where he took Grogu after the Great Jedi Purge? The Naboo Guard came to save them, but where did they go after Coruscant? There must be a reason Ahmed is posting this weeks before the Bad Batch's final season. Is he voicing Kelleran Beq in animated form? He did mention taking Grogu to a certain group of friends. Could this be related to the earliest iteration of the underground Jedi path that we see in Kenobi, in the Jedi video games? And if so, was he killed by an Inquisitor? But the minute I saw Ahmed's post, I kind of read between the lines, maybe got a bit too speculative and conspiratorial, but there is a very strong connective thread to one of the biggest moments of the Season 3 trailer, Asajj Ventress' return, the Dark Disciple stuff. Who was she in love with, and who witnessed her death? A Jedi who we know is still alive, in the Bad Batch Season 3, was name-dropped later in the timeline in Kenobi, so he's on Lucasfilm's radar, and was part of the underground Jedi movement to save Force-sensitive children and adults alike. I believe Kelleran Beq is going to deliver Grogu to Quinlan Voss, and then decades down the line, the child ends up on Arvala 7, Quinlan is probably dead by that point, but at this stage in the timeline, the Batch might come across Quinlan, maybe Kelleran Beq, and a younger version of Grogu. Even before the release of Season 1, there were rumours that Grogu was going to appear in animation. He hasn't thus far in the Bad Batch, but he might be about to along with Kelleran Beq, based on what Ahmed is posting. There must be a reason he says #suitup, Kelleran and the child, #Grogu, #the Bad Batch, which is merely 24 days away. And I'm certainly not the only fan who believes this is what he is teasing. Just look at some of these responses. A Bad Batch hashtag, "I smell another appearance of one of our favourite Jedi on the way." And then this person who is reiterating a theory I put forward a few months ago in relation to the early rebellion, but also Queen Apelana of Naboo. Other fans saying we need to know, what is this all about? I guess time will tell, my dear friends. But don't be surprised if Kelleran Beq and our favourite little green friend Grogu return in the Bad Batch's final season. Is this the way? I think so. It'd be amazing to not have to wait another couple of years for Mando Season 4 or the movie by Jon Favreau to see the rest of this flashback. But I also just want to reinstate, my dear friends, Ahmed might not be teasing anything specific. He might be sharing his excitement for the Mandalorian film, maybe he knows he's going to be in it, maybe he's already seen some scripts. And this brings us on to our next topic, because yesterday Production Weekly posted that The Mandalorian and Grogu begins production on June 17th, and they also provide an update for the Rey film. Here's what they said. Wrapping up this first issue with last, but certainly not least, is the next adventure in the Star Wars galaxy from director Jon Favreau. His next film, The Mandalorian and Grogu, was revealed by Lucasfilm to shoot this year. We now have a start date of June 17th in Los Angeles. This was previously the listed date for Mando Season 4, while Charmin Obaid-Chinoy's Star Wars film, which is of course the Rey one, is listed for May 2024, previously April 7th in the UK. Stephen Knight is still working on the script, so this may not pan out, while the listing does not include a writer for Jon Favreau's film, but we know that's going to be both Jon and Dave. Production Weekly is not always accurate though, so take this with a massive grain of salt. But returning to the main subject, it's curious why Ahmed is posting this, and if it is for the Bad Batch, it shows a willingness from Lucasfilm to keep connecting the various Imperial-era projects. The Mandalorian takes place after the Imperial era, but I'm referring to the flashback. And we've seen this in Kenobi, Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, to some extent and/or Season 1, and even the guide Dawn of Rebellion, which we've spoken about in depth, admits this and alludes to it. And in many ways with what's going on Mount Tantis, With Rampart, Krennic, Tarkin, I see the Bad Batch as quite central to all of them in terms of interconnectivity. Some fans have theorized that the main reason we're seeing the return of Asajj Ventress and possibly Quinlan Vos is because those characters are at the heart of what the Bad Batch is leading to in terms of the next Star Wars animated show. There are endless possibilities in terms of the time period this could explore, what the focus could be, but realistically, it might continue the trajectory of the early Empire, and so one possibility for the next show, and again, I'm not talking about Tales of the Jedi Season 2, or Young Jedi Adventures or Vision Season 3, I'm talking about the next multi-season, full episode length kind of series, and that could focus on the struggles of the Jedi path. In the same way Captain Rex and Echo are saving clones, Quinlan's mission might be rescuing younglings and Jedi scattered around the galaxy, and this might be how Kelleran and Grogu cross his path. And here's another very interesting point of speculation. When Kelleran brings Grogu to these friends, whether they're on Naboo or connected to Quinlan or whatever, what if they try to achieve a mission that Din Djarin was set on after Season 1, bringing Grogu back to his own kind? But in this instance, I'm not talking about Jedi because of course the Empire is hunting them down, but Grogu's species. Could the Bad Batch be setting that up as something Kelleran attempted to reunite Grogu with his home world? But Kelleran no doubt knew about Master Yoda and knew how secretive he was about his own kind. He didn't reveal anything. The only person who may have had some kind of knowledge, but even then it was probably very limited, was Master Windu. And so even if Kelleran attempted this kind of mission, he evidently failed. I can't imagine they're going to reveal anything too big about the origins of this species, so he wouldn't have known where Grogu, Yaddle, or Yoda were from. But that could have been a cool mission. Just an interesting thought. I'm actually very excited for Ahmed Best, and I hope he gets the opportunity to voice Kelleran Beq, and this be a sort of renaissance for the actor who had such a bad experience in the prequel years. And he's just such a badass character, you want to see more of him. He wasn't nicknamed the Sabered Hand for nothing. I'd love to see him have some banter with his droid AD3, who was envious of his Force abilities. She used to tease him about using Force powers to do silly things like close doors and lift rocks. So there is more to him than just this serious Jedi figure, but there is no doubt he was an amazing and proficient Jar-Kai user, able to wield 2 lightsabers at once. The Order 66 flashback from Mando Season 3 is one of my favourite moments of the entire show. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Should Kelleran return? Is he going to return in the Bad Batch Season 3? Or are we reading too much into this? Let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, my dear friends, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.